Hey everybody, welcome to GameCentre episode 5 of the National Hockey League predictions and episode scores and standings around the league that I've been doing. Welcome, of course, this is Peter Fivefoot. Puck drops here. We had a few games last night, really good ones. A bunch of games last night, and a few games tonight, all affecting the scores and standings around the National Hockey League. This is going to be a quick night tonight in the NHL, because the nightcap is a 7:30 start in the capital of Canada, Ottawa. So it'll be around done, all the games by 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Okay, so let's look into the scores last night. Actually, news, first. You talk about the news first. There's only one news story about a player to talk about. It's Alexander Kerfoot, the good defenseman of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's out indefinitely because of dental fractures. A few games ago against the LA Kings, he got hit right in the mouth and had a tooth issue, and so he's going to be out indefinitely for the Maple Leafs, which absolutely affects their situation, because their blue line, already thin, got way thinner with Kerfoot out. Let's talk about the scores last night. We'll go to standings, then we'll go to scores and predictions tonight. Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Buffalo Sabres 5-4 in overtime. Carolina extends to 11-7-1. Buffalo drops to 9-6-3, but they pick up a point because they went to 4 periods. The Hurricanes' game winner came off the stick of their points and goal and assist leader, Dougie Hamilton. The Tampa Bay Lightning thrashed the Rangers last night 9-5. They extended 9-5-2, a 9-3 throttling of New York. The New York Rangers originally started with Yergiev, but later in the game, as goaltending was an issue, Henrik Lundqvist came in. 8-7-2 is what the New York Rangers dropped to. In Sunrise, Florida, the Winnipeg Jets rose to 11-8-1 with a 4-3 regulation win over the Florida Panthers, who dropped to 9-5-5 and still stay third in the Atlantic Division behind the Canadiens. The Minnesota Wild got a late 3-2 victory, extending to 7-11-1, and the Coyotes at 11-7-2 dropped, but a really good game in St. Paul. In Edmonton, a 6-point night, the first time in his illustrious career for Connor McDavid. Edmonton got a 6-2 win and they extend to 13-6-2, and Colorado 11-6-2, and that was gigantic for Edmonton at home after giving up an early 1-0 lead to Colorado. The Dallas Stars beat the Vancouver Canucks 4-2. The fourth goal only being an empty netter. It was a really close game throughout, and Rogers Arena, in Vancouver, British Columbia. Dallas extends to 10-8-2, and the Canucks drop to 10-7-3. They're starting to hit a bit of a slump after losing 4 straight games, one in overtime. Then they got a victory much needed against the Predators, but they've just lost again, and we'll see how the Canucks bounce back. In Anaheim, the San Jose Sharks crept closer to that 500 threshold by beating the Ducks 5-3. The Sharks extend to 9-10-1, and the Ducks are just ahead of them at 9-9-2. The 5-3 victory for San Jose. And the nightcap was another overtime game. A 3-2 victory by the LA Kings, who are 7-11-1. And the Detroit Red Wings lost 3-2, dropping them to 7-12-2. A game-tying goal by the Kings late in regulation with 41 seconds left with the net empty. And then the game winner off of a face-off early on in overtime by Alex Iafallo for LA. Those were all the games last night. For standings, we'll check the tables. With the best record in hockey, it still belongs to the Washington Caps, who are 14-2-4 with 32 points atop the Metropolitan Division. Number 2nd in the Metro are the New York Islanders at 13-3-1, and they own 27 points, still 5 points behind Washington. With the third place team in the Metropolitan Division are the Philly Flyers, who are 10-5-3 and owners of 23 points. Fourth in their division, overpassing the Pens at 11-7-1, are the Carolina Hurricanes, also owners of 23 points. Hurricanes have already been in the third spot, though, this year. The Pittsburgh Penguins are 10-6-2, 1 point out, with 22 points. And they do play tonight. Right behind the Penguins with 18 points, 8-7-2, are the New York Rangers, with 6th spot in their division. 2 points behind them at 6-8-4, also playing tonight, with 16 points, are the Columbus Blue Jackets in 7th place. And with the worst record in the league and 8th place in the Metropolitan Division are the struggling New Jersey Devils at 5-8-4 and owners of 14 points. In the Atlantic Division, the first place team, the third spot in the Eastern Conference, and the first in the Atlantic Division are the Boston Bruins, who have an 11-3-4 record and 26 points. Behind them, with a 10-5-3 record, both of these teams are playing tonight, are the Montreal Canadiens with 23 points, 3 points behind Boston. In the third place team is the Florida Panthers, who are 9-5-5 and also owners of 23 points. In the fourth place, who is playing the Bruins tonight, at 9-7-4 and 22 points, 1 point behind Florida and behind Montreal, are the Toronto Maple Leafs. In the fifth spot, right behind them, with 1 point behind them with 21 points and 9-6-3 record, are the Sabres. 1 point behind Buffalo at 9-5-2 are the 20-point Tampa Bay Lightning. And with 7-12-2 are the Detroit Red Wings with 16 points in the 7th place team in the Atlantic Division. And it's 7-10-1 with the 15 points, and the 8th spot, second worst record in the East, belongs to the Ottawa Senators. The Central Division, and they still own the best record in the Western Conference at 12-3-4, and the second best record in the National Hockey League are the St. Louis Blues, who gather 28 points. Second behind them, at 11-6-2 and still owners of 24 points, are the Colorado Avalanche. Third place behind Colorado are the Winnipeg Jets, who are 11-8-1 and 23 points, only 1 point behind the Avs. At fourth place in the Central, climbing up, at 10-8-2 and 22 points, 1 point behind Winnipeg and 2 points behind Colorado, are the Dallas Stars. Fifth place in the Central at 9-6-3, 1 point behind Dallas, 3 points behind Colorado in second place, and 2 points behind Winnipeg in third place, are the Nashville Predators. At sixth place in the Central are the Chicago Blackhawks at a 7-7-4, 18-point rate, and at 7-11-1, the 15-point Minnesota Wild. In the Pacific Division, you have the Edmonton Oilers, who have the second best record in the Western Conference still and are tied point-wise for the best record in the West with St. Louis. Edmonton is 13-6-2, owners of 28 points. Behind them are the Arizona Coyotes, who are 11-7-2 with the second spot in the Pacific Division, owners of 24 points, 4 points behind the Oilers. Third place still are the Vancouver Canucks, who are 10-7-3, owners of 23 points, right ahead of Calgary. The Flames in fourth spot are 10-8-3, 23 points. The only thing separating the Canucks and the Flames, are one more loss that the Flames have than the Canucks have. Vegas at 5 is 9-8-3 and 21 points, 2 points behind Calgary and Vancouver, and 3 points behind the Coyotes for second place. The Ducks are 9-9-2 with 20 points, which is 1 point behind Vegas, 2 behind Calgary and Vancouver, and 3 behind Calgary and Vancouver for fourth and third, and 4 behind Arizona for second. Obviously 8 behind Edmonton for first place, but these are the close margins that I'm explaining. For seventh place are the Sharks, who are 9-10-1, owning 19 points, and are 4 points behind the Flames and the Canucks for 4 and 3, and 5 points behind the Coyotes for second. And the Kings are 7-11-1, owners of 15 points, last in the Pacific Division and second last in the Western Conference. Also, they are They are the third worst team in the National Hockey League. Let's go to the scores for tonight. As it is loading up we have a colossal matchup in Scotiabank Stadium Arena in Toronto. The Bruins coming in with 11-3-4 record with the second best record in the Metropolitan Division against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I believe it's the third best in the Eastern Conference, not Metropolitan Division. First in the Atlantic. Against the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto, 9-7-4. The Bruins will lose to the Maple Leafs in overtime again, and Toronto will get a win this time off the stick of Austin Matthews, 4-3. 5-4, 5-4. Pittsburgh is going to play the Devils. Big matchup. Pittsburgh wants to get back into that 4 spot, potentially even the 3rd if they can. Or 10-6-2. The Devils are 5-8-4 with the worst record in the NHL. Devils need points and they need wins and they need them quickly, and they're going to win 5-2. The game-winning goal is going to be scored by Jack Hughes. These are both 7 o'clock puck drops. 5 games being played tonight, 4 of which are going to be 7 o'clock puck drops. This is another one in Capital One Arena against another Metropolitan team. It's another Eastern Conference battle. The Montreal Canadiens with a 10-5-3 record against Washington, who are at 14-2-4. The Caps are going to win 4-3, and the game-winning goal is going to be scored by John Carlson. The Caps are going to get to 15-2-4, still holding the best record in the National Hockey League. The last 7 o'clock puck drop in Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. It's the first and only Western Conference team to be playing tonight. The St. Louis Blues, who have the second best record in the NHL, at 12-3-4, are going to Columbus, Ohio, in Buckeye territory to play the Jackets. The Jackets come in with the 7th seed in the Metropolitan Division at 6-8-4, 7th place. And the St. Louis Blues are going to win it in a shootout, 3-2. And the shootout game winner is going to be scored by Ryan O'Reilly. In the final game, the nightcap, how funny that is to say, at 7:30, the puck drop in Ottawa in the Canadian Tire Center. The Philadelphia Flyers come in at 10-5-3 against the Senators at 7-10-1, and the Flyers are going to win 5-1. The game-winning goal scored by Sean Couturier. And that is all tonight. All the games coming up soon. Puck drop is going to be in about a little less than 2 hours. I believe it'll be 110 minutes from where I am. Puck drop in Toronto, puck drop in New Jersey, puck drop in the district, and puck drop in Columbus. And about 30 minutes after that, puck drop in Canada's capital. So hope you guys will really enjoy those games as I will. Hope you guys have enjoyed this edition of GameCentre, Episode 5. This is Peter Pfeiffer signing off on the puck drops here. Happy hockey, everybody.